Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Jerome Legacy, and I am back with another one today. We have the American Manhunt for O.J. Simpson that is available right now on Netflix. And I got my girl Rosa with me. She's going to be doing commentary today, radio style. So that's something new for you guys. Go ahead and say hello.
Hey, you guys.
Look at that. You hear that beautiful angelic voice? She's here. She dropped in on the studio, so we're going to do that. And she was telling me she recently watched the O.J. Simpson Netflix series. And so you were really young when this was happening, so you really didn't know the whole motions of it. So what did this film do for you?
What it did for me, it just shed light on so many different things. It shedded light on like so many different issues when it comes to race, relationships, domestic violence.
Oh, wow.
Just,
Okay, hold that thought. I'm going to go ahead and let them get into the trailer, and then we'll really dig into it. We're going to jump right into it, guys. Here we go.
Alright, girl. This is AC. I have OJ in the car. I'm coming up the freeway.
They are certain that OJ is in the passenger seat.
Mr. Simpson is a wanted murder suspect.
OJ is in custody. This was a trial involving the most famous.
This right here gives me like what the paparazzi looks like today, like on the red carpet in Hollywood. And back in, what was this, the 80s or something like that? This had to be literally incredibly stressful. But at the same time, he looked like he could have been enjoying all that attention. So it could play a double-edged sword.
Oh, man. Wait till we get into it.
Okay, let's get into it.
Ever charged with murder.
Thank you, I'm clear. No one's not gonna beat the shit out of me.
My brother was returning Nicole's glasses and was slaughtered to death.
I was the last person that saw OJ before the murders.
There was more evidence than I had ever seen in my life.
Hold up, I'm gagging and we'll get into it. But like, did more than one person die that night?
Yeah.
They said her brother. Okay, this is way more. Again, us not being old enough to understand. I just, knew about OJ. I didn't know so many people passed in the, in the process.
It was two of them. It was the wife, the estranged wife, and her friend, who some people think may have possibly been a love interest.
Wow. Okay, let's jump back into it.
A lot of witnesses didn't testify.
I recognized his voice.
I witnessed him discarding the murder weapon.
Hold up, they said a lot of witnesses didn't testify. Now the man's dead and gone, and all of a sudden everybody ready to testify. Come on, y'all dragging it. But okay.
I've seen a lot of the evidence ignored.
But I guess everybody needs their 15 minutes of fame, baby. Like, I heard a phone call. I'll be right there. Like, I seen, a shadow lurking in the bushes.
Oh, yeah, that's what it's really giving.
Right.
It really gave that.
Okay, we got to get into it.
Nobody could anticipate what would happen next.
Detective Furman, did you plant any evidence in this case? Have you ever falsified a police report?
This is a bombshell.
It was extraordinary.
And it was a disaster.
We had no idea how big this was.
Well, that's one of the most important items of evidence in this case.
Remember these words. If it doesn't fit,
Acting when he
you
put
must
that
quit.
glove on.
Iconic. That's that is ring through time for years.
The way he was
trying to get in there. If it don't fit, you must have quit.
You could have put that glove on.
So when they reenact, it was very cinematic.
When he was doing it, it was just so
wow. Right, you got to give that. If it don't fit, you must have quit.
This is the most talked about murder case in American history. The
trial went on for months and months.
Hold up, not they had t-shirt. If it don't fit, you must have quit.
Oh, it was really a big thing.
Wow. This was like social media
without having social media. This was like what a time to be alive. You just really had to be there.
Yeah. Okay.
Jury didn't even deliberate for one day.
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Orenthal James Simpson.
Justice can be different things to different people.
Wow. And And so, guys, that is available on Netflix right now. Make sure you guys go ahead and support Netflix and watch that from top to bottom. And make sure you guys tell us your viewpoint on it. Did OJ do it? Did he not do it? Of course, he won the case battle, but again, let's jump back into it. Rose, from like your point of view, you weren't old enough at that time to know what was really happening. What was your point of view, and what did you take from it?
So at first, like, I was just watching it because I was like, you know, my mom always tells me, you need to sit down and watch stuff and learn something. So I'm like, you know, I always hear about the OJ case, and, you know,
because it made history.
I know it might be like redundant for some people, but for the younger millennials and, you know, generations after us,
right,
we don't really know. We like just heard of it. You like the most I've seen is like references on comedy shows and skits. Family Guy, they did the reference.
OJ did it.
Yeah, like, so it was like I never really understood
what that meant.
What really happened. So it was like, okay, it was interesting. Like, let me see what was the story. And when I watched it, it was deep because it just touched on so many different topics, from like race to domestic violence, police brutality in LA. Another reason why they said he got off at that time is because the beatings with Rodney King had just happened.
Right. So race played a big part in it.
And then they was able to prove time and time again that the LAPD had a reputation for just being racist pricks.
Right.
At that time, especially. Right. So
it was no DEI back then.
It was so, but even then, I mean, Johnny Cochran, we need more of him. That man was bad.
That man knew what he was doing. He understood the assignment.
He really understood the assignment from start
Even
to
if
finish.
it was on the wrong side or the right side, he understood his assignment and his job.
It was so crazy because, you know, they had one cop in particular that they sent to the stand. And when they sent him to the stand, you know, that was on the, what was that? The
defense. Right.
Side. Well, no, not the defense side. The plaintiff
side.
Or whatever. So, prosecution side.
Right.
So, he...
the side for Nicole.
Right. So, he got on the stand. They literally had recordings. Somebody sent recordings of him on the phone talking to somebody. Saying, like, all the stories about how he just beats black men for no reason. They might be innocent. You know, we do terrible things to them.
The cop had recordings against him. The one that was put on the stand.
No, the cop was the one who was on the stand.
But they had evidence of him already doing damage to black men and beating them and mistreating them. And so they basically watched him.
That was done. He's still alive. If you guys watch the documentary, to this day, he doesn't even want to really own up to it. He tries to say, like,
did he show up on the series?
Yeah.
He put his face out? Okay. Everybody want their little 15.
Oh, God. It was, even if he the bad guy.
Even if you the bad guy, like, I'm about to get my 15.
He was like, listen, that's not really me. I can't change what people think about me. Sir, you was going in forever.
Right.
I mean, the girl had, like, hours of content of him just saying all of these horrible things he did to black people, or what the cops would do to black men, and what
the gross misinjustice,
just all of these terrible things. And then even the way OJ, you know, he took chase in the Bronco, and
he was in fear of his life. I'm assuming
part of it was he was in fear of his life, and it was like he had to,
right after the Rodney King thing,
he had to make a scene, because if he makes a scene and you got all of the people that's watching,
they can't just
the helicopters and everybody is watching from home now. Right. It's on the news. Right.
They can't just shoot me.
They can't do nothing to me like that right now, because then it'll be proof.
Right.
So,
like the and opposite of that, like the George Floyd situation, you know, if you want to make it seem so more people could see it, like if he was on the news and helicopters was going and they was choking him on his neck, they would have had to let up and keep it moving. Like, bro, you can't do that. But they were allotted that because there was only a few pedestrians there, and they were just telling them to move back or you're gonna get locked up too.
Right. And
which is sad for people of our color, and it's a lot of privilege and gross injustice from this one, even crossing over to the Gabby Petito case. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a lot of cases out here, and from back in the day to now, you can still see it. And now with Trump, it's swinging back around like they want us to be in slavery times or something. Like,
right. And I would say, because like the race thing is one thing, but then being a woman is a whole nother ball game, because like domestic violence, it just shows how if you're popular,
big enough,
like a Diddy, liked enough, you could get away with murder, literally. Like
OJ did it, or OJ didn't do it.
You know, the reality of it is like, if she was bad enough, she was a woman, and you know they didn't really win the trial. They did do like a retrial or whatever, and he was found guilty, but he didn't go to jail. He had to just like pay the families like millions of dollars, which he never paid.
Oh wow.
Yeah, no, he was living his best life.
Because at that point the contract was
he moved all his assets around and you know things like that. He wasn't beat.
Smart financially.
And it was just like, can you imagine though the difference if she was his first wife who was black, and that would have happened? Would it have been that much news and craziness, and would have anybody even really cared? Because they damn near didn't, they barely cared about her.
Right.
Like, it was so, they show it on the docuseries how, you know, of course you had like white people that was like, wow,
outraged,
he's guilty, and then you had some people that was like, nah, that's my man, that's OJ, he's innocent,
he's the football
gonna
player.
beat this, I love him, like white people, black people, Spanish people, all people from all walks of life, just like,
because football is Americans' first love, so they was overlooking things in the blind eye.
And then when he was found not guilty the first time, what made it look really bad on his end, and I think now with the way PR, you know, works and stuff,
very like Scandal, the show, they can balance it and turn
this
it.
This nigga had a party.
Yeah, that probably if he had a PR agent, I don't think we would have been going.
That wouldn't have happened in this time.
Right.
But back then, nobody had enough. He was happy to beat the case. Right. So they went back to his mansion, had a big party. Everybody was celebrating, and it's all on TV. Like, did this nigga just have a party?
Right. Celebrating a woman who's dead. Either way, if you did it or not, that's not the good fashion to do it in. But on that note, I think, you know, a lot of people can learn a lot of different aspects from watching this OJ trial in the series on Netflix, which is available right now. It's been available since January 29th. I think it's a must-see. It's part of history. It's something that if you haven't, you should live through it. It also shows different levels of racism and segregation, of where we came from and where we possibly can be going back towards with the new president that we have now. So
oh my God,
just be mindful.
When I say it was so many different moving parts to just the racism alone.
Right. Because
you had the Johnny Cochrans, and I forgot the other guy's name who was working with him at the time.
And Kim Kardashian's dad.
But the other black
Rob
guy,
Kardashian.
I forgot the other black guy's name who was there. He's still alive and stuff. And he was on a documentary too, or whatever. And they were really just like, we want to make sure that our client is free. And, you know, the injustice with the police, they really took the race card and just shed so much light on everything. And the reason why he won was like unanimous. Everybody just was like, you know, LAPD, they suck, they're horrible.
With the Rodney King thing.
Yeah. And then the other guy, he was on the prosecution side, and he was the only black guy, and it just kind of, not to say he's an Uncle Tom, but it just shows how even I felt so bad for him, because it was like he was just doing a job, right? He was just doing his job, but they used him,
token black person,
so it was like everything that was on the prosecution side that could possibly blow up in their face, depending on how the defense responds. They put him to the front to go do it. They put him to the front to go present it. And then when he had stuff he wanted to use, it was like, oh, no, sit this one out.
Right.
No, we don't need you to do that right now.
You're the token black person when we want you to be.
And then when he finally did, I forgot what it was. It was something. It was a certain angle he was going at. And I think he was the one who brought the cop in. And when he brought the cop in, yes, he brought the cop in. But wait, hold on. Not only did he bring the cop in, knew he was racist, defended his racism
as a black man. Wow.
911. It was terrible.
And it's probably his white counterparts probably could have pushed him to do that.
But that's what I'm saying.
Right.
So it was so sad to see, like,
the destruction.
Even on his side, like,
how they can use you and make you do what they want.
Black people, we get put in these situations where, like, do I stick with my people and fight and possibly lose, or possibly, you know, Do I lose my people though,
right,
and go with the other side because this is my job? Like, how many black people feel like they're disconnected from their family or from their community because of their career path and who they associate themselves with?
Right.
And ironically enough, OJ was known for really not even trying to associate with black people like that.
Wow.
But in this situation, typical black people shit.
You gotta rally when you need to rally.
We rally up. We fight for everybody. We fight for us. We fight for the white folks, black folks, Spanish folks, whoever, immigrants, whatever.
We outside.
We just always outside ready to go to war for people. Like, because we so used to having to go to war for ourselves anyway.
Right. Well, we've been at war for a long time, but overall, I want you guys to make sure you go and check out the American Manhunt O.J. Simpson on Netflix right now. Is it available? It is a must watch, and leave your comments below. Until next time, guys, take care of yourselves and each other. Peace.